Hi, and welcome everybody to the Winners Circle Sports Betting Channel. I'm Ross Benjamin, your host, and today I'm joined by Mr. Doug Upstone from DocSports.com and also Kyle Hunter from GamblersWorld.net. We had a great show last week. If you were with us, all three of us had winning free picks for you. We went a perfect 3-0. That's what we plan on doing today. Folks, just a couple friendly reminders. It's not too late to join the NFL Progressive Pick'em contest over at Gamblers World, is our sponsor, by the way. Great contest. We guarantee, I should say, a minimum of $500 for the first place prize. It's all straight up winners. You don't pick games against the spread. You pick every game on the board every week in the NFL right through the end of the regular season. And whoever's on top at the end of the year, you get the grand prize. Now, here's the better part of the contest as well. We pay second, third, and fourth places. Also, folks, if you have a perfect score, if there's 14 games on a scheduled Sunday or scheduled week, I should say, and you win all 14 games, then we're putting in $100 per week into the prize money. And if nobody hits the perfect score for, let's say, the first 8 weeks of the contest, and you do on week 9, you scoop up $800 just for having a perfect score. So you know what the best part about this contest is? It's absolutely free. Just need to go to Gamblers World. You'll see a logo up there with the NFL Progressive Pick'em contest, and click on that. A registration form will come up and you'll be all set to go. And don't forget, go to gamblersworld.net where we have 10 of the finest handicappers in the country, including me and Kyle. No, Doug's not there. He's at Doc Sports, but that's okay. But me and Kyle are there, and we would encourage you folks. You know, we have some of the best football handicappers specifically that you'll find anywhere on the internet. And monthly, we have our annual packages, in the NFL, college football, and a combination of the NFL and college football. Those are discounted rates, and folks, you will be better served by getting an annual subscription from one of us, whatever your choice may be. You can't go wrong with all 10 of us. So there you have it. Let me say hello. Hey, Doug, how are you?
I'm doing well, Ross. And yes, we got some Thursday. It's Thursday, so we got a game tonight going, and I got some action on that on the prop side. So looking forward to doing something there and on a nice run on props. So get that, and hey, let's kick this stuff off. You know, and then the one thing, Ross, I don't know if I should tell Kyle if I like Cleveland or not. I'm a little on the fence a little bit on that one. So what do you think?
What do I think? I think that it's awful dangerous to go against a division home dog in week 1 of the season. But, you know, there's Kyle sporting that Cincinnati Bengals paraphernalia. Kyle, how are you, my man?
Doing well, guys. Nice to get those 3 winners from the video last week. And yeah, I'm not saying I would bet the Bengals this week. I'm just letting all the viewers know who my team is right from the jump.
You know, out of all the guests we have on the show, if you include me in the whole scenario, Kyle's the most soft-spoken of the bunch. But don't be misled, because he's a quiet assassin. Let me tell you, I think he's number 1 right now at gamblersworld.net over the last 30 days. And watch out when he starts catching on fire. This is a guy who hit over 70% of his college football selections last year. Kyle, what was the exact record?
57-24 last year, 53-27 the year before too, 66%. So 2 really good years in a row. And I hit 60% in the NFL last year as well. So we're going to try to have another nice season. We can talk about some good NFL games this weekend. You guys know this time of the year is great.
So you just heard those numbers, folks, and those are all documented. We don't make up records on this channel. All the guys on this channel are documented by an independent source, okay? So if Kyle tells you he hit 60% in the NFL last year, 66% in 2021, over 70% in 2022 in college football, I don't know what you're waiting for. $8.99. You can get his football annual subscription package. Come on, folks. You always complain when you don't win with these free picks. Here's a guy who's hitting at the rate he's hitting at. There's no excuses. Go to the site, click on that $8.99 package for Kyle Hunter, and he'll make you more money than you could ever believe. Anyway, let's get to the games at hand. Right to the meat and potatoes here. Doug, you're going to be on the 49ers and the Steelers game. The 49ers right now a 2.5-point road favorite. The total in this game is 41.
Yeah, this is one of the more intriguing matchups, I think, of week one. How I'm looking at this one is, each year the NFL preseason offers us, some couple of teams that are likely to do better than anticipated, and some ones that are not going to do as well as anticipated. Now, I think in this category, I think the former is the way to go here. And the Pittsburgh Steelers on this one, they have really performed well in the preseason. And anybody that saw them in the preseason, physically saw them, just raved about what they saw. There were a few detractors, there are a few detractors for Mike Tomlin, the coach, but this guy knows how to maximize talent. The depth of the team is far better than most realize on both sides of the ball. So that I think that, even when they have, some injuries, I think they'll be able to offset that. And they're coming off 2 9-win seasons. And, I think they're just underlooked because, you got Baltimore and Cincinnati stealing most of the headlines. Cleveland, everybody kind of anticipating Cleveland to be better. But in terms of what people are talking about, it's definitely the Pittsburgh Steelers. So from that standpoint, like kind of where they are now, San Francisco probably was not going to beat Philadelphia last year in the NFC Championship game. Then when Brock Purdy went down, that was the end of it. Okay, game was over. Purdy has looked strong enough in the preseason coming back from that elbow injury that they decided to take a lot of criticism, and they dealt Trey Lance, who didn't really perform that well even when he was there. So Purdy's the guy now. There's no obvious weaknesses with San Francisco, yet there is still plenty of sharp money out there that I've seen this August that the Seattle could win the NFC West. So with the line at 2.5, to me, it's a matter of trying to figure out, is Pittsburgh just a shiny object that people are, excited about because it's something new, something different, versus old, reliable now San Francisco, who just wins every single season? That's a possibility, but you know what? I cannot overlook the fact that Tomlin is 13-5 against the spread when catching points at home, and inside that number is a 7-1 run, while the 49ers are in their last 6 games, they're 1-5 as a non-division away favorite. I'm going to grab the points here with Pittsburgh, and I'm also going to dish out a dollop of money line action as a suggestion on the Steelers. Also, give me the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ross.
The Pittsburgh Steelers plus 2.5. He's going the money line, but he's not going the direction in which I normally do, is go to the money line on the favorite of 2.5 or less. We had this discussion last week between the three of us. I'm on an island when it comes to that philosophy, and it prompted some good conversation with some of the subscribers out there. Speaking of which, folks, if you have not subscribed yet, take a second to do so. Costs you absolutely nothing. You'll see a WC logo in the bottom right-hand corner of your video box. Click on that. It'll get you subscribed. That's if you're on a PC. If you're on your mobile device, which statistically shows many of you are, just hit that black subscribe button right underneath the video box. You're all set to go. And I'm going to ask you to do one step further. And by the way, subscribing's free. Is there a better price than free? I don't know. Anyway, all you have to do is go into your YouTube settings and take that one extra step for me and click on that alert notification bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, and you'll be alerted immediately upon us releasing any of our podcasts right here on our channel. Kyle, the game that Doug just discussed, the Pittsburgh Steelers, we got 2 second-year quarterbacks in Kenny Pickett and Brock Purdy. Obviously, Purdy was a little more accomplished last year. And Doug mentioned he got hurt in the NFC Championship game, and who knows what would have happened, even though Doug still thinks Philly would have won, and I agree with him. What's your take? Do you have any opinion short of a pick?
Yeah, I mean, first things first, I'm not at all a Steelers fan. You can see that, Bengals fans, I mean, not Steelers fans. Having said that, I really respect the Steelers organization. They're good every single year. Tomlin outperforms expectations consistently. He's always supposed to have this team that's below 500, and somehow they win games. He gets them up there. He's great as an underdog, as Doug said. He's also great with extra time to prepare for a game, which is exactly what he had for this one. I like that they played hard in the preseason. Kind of his quotes about I want to be ready by actually trying hard, and then you go right into it, and it's an easier process instead of sitting everybody. I think I tend to agree with that process, and to me, Pickett looks like a pretty good young quarterback, especially for not having great weapons around him last year, and the offensive line wasn't very good either. I think he looks pretty good. The AFC North is stacked. There are a lot of really good teams in the AFC North. They're going to beat each other up. The other thing is Kyle Shanahan's 1-5 against the spread in week one. So the 49ers have not been great in week one. Mike Tomlin's teams have been very good early in the season. They've also been great as an underdog, as Doug said. This team gets the most out of it every single year. You give me points with the Steelers at home, I would have to take the Steelers.
There you go. So you got two strong opinions there on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, folks, what we give you on this podcast isn't necessarily what we're putting out on our premium picks at gamblersworld.net or at docsports.com in Doug's case. It could be possible that what we give you on this program is, but most likely it's not going to be. And if you've been following us over the last 3 months, folks, we've been making a lot of money with these free picks. So my suggestion is this. We don't ask for a lot, okay? You're not paying for your subscription here. What I'm going to ask you to do, though, is there's a like button right underneath the video box, and click on that like button, folks. It's a small token of your appreciation for the work we do on this channel, the preparedness that goes into it. And our goal is always, and will continue to be, to make you a smarter sports bettor today than yesterday. It's not always about just a free pick winner. It's about how we arrived at that selection. It's about listening to our analysis. When your kids come home from school and are having trouble in a certain subject, you don't do the homework for them and give them the answer, because what's going to happen when they go on their test? They're not going to know how they arrived at that answer. Well, that's the same thing we're trying to do here. We're giving you analysis to put it in your memory bank and help you make decisions on your games if you choose not to pay us, which is your prerogative. In any event, let's get right to Kyle's game, which is the Miami Dolphins and the LA Chargers. Boy, two teams that I think are going to be extremely dangerous this year. And you know what? I'm not hearing a lot of love in the Chargers corner. And I think they're a team you got to keep an eye on. They might be a sleeper in the AFC, a sleeper to get to the Super Bowl. We'll see. But what do you think, Kyle? It doesn't matter what I think.
I mean, I think that this is a difficult game. I think it's a tremendous game to watch. I think, Ross, you kind of gave me a difficult game here, so I'm going to try to break this down the best I possibly can. It's a game I'm looking forward to watching. I think both these teams have a high upside. The Chargers always have a high upside, but they're always inconsistent. Somehow they blow it. We've seen them blow it many times in the past. This is not me being a Chargers hater. I kind of like the team. It's just they found ways to lose when they should have won. Miami, I think Miami's offense is much better than some people are giving them credit for when they're healthy. And I mean, going into this season, they're at least pretty healthy. I know Waddle has been a bit banged up here, which is certainly a key injury. Tua is always a major injury risk, but when he's healthy, they've done well. They've moved the ball well. They were third in yards per play, 6.0 last year, and that's even with some of the injury issues. The Chargers defense was bottom 5 in yards per play allowed last year. They upgraded a little bit probably, but I don't think the Chargers defense is automatically just going to be really good this year. Chargers on offense, Kellen Moore comes in. I think that's an upgrade for them. Banged up guys all over the place for the Chargers offense last year. To say that they had a lot of injuries on offense last year is a massive understatement. And to be fair, it seems like the Chargers are always badly banged up. They never seem to have good injury luck. Herbert signed up. Look at the weapons around him this year. Williams, Allen, Palmer, add in Quentin Johnston. Everett's a pretty decent tight end as well. He certainly has plenty of guys around him. And then Eckler's a good running back, obviously. So I see a lot of weapons there around Herbert. Herbert's definitely a top 6 or 8 quarterback in the NFL. Maybe gets a little bit too much love from some people when they put him up at, number 2 or 3. But I think he has the potential to get even better. And to me, the total's gone up some. I think the total's gone up for a reason. You see both these teams very capable of explosive plays. I think that's something that people should look at a bit more than they do, because success rate is important and having success, but you do use up a lot of time if you get 3 or 4 yards every single play. Those teams that can break those big plays and the defenses that give up those explosive plays, those are what you really want with an over. I think both of these teams fit that. So I'm going to take the over here in this one.
All right. So Kyle likes Miami and the Chargers over 51 on a difficult game. Could you imagine if I gave him an easy game, Doug? Holy cow. I
Washington
think
and Arizona, for example.
Yeah, I don't know. What's an easy game in the NFL? Let me know.
Yes.
When you find out, Kyle, send me a text and let me know next week what the easiest game on the board is, and I'll feed you. Okay, so there you go. But you did a terrific job there, and you make a compelling case because both of these offenses figure to be explosive. The key, and Kyle mentioned it, Doug, is keeping Tua upright.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, your thoughts, Doug?
Yeah, on this one, to me, it's pretty simple. I'm looking at the coaching situation here. Brandon Staley makes a lot of mistakes. He does a number of things that are questionable. It has impacted how they play defense. It impacted how they play offense across the board. I'd rather take the points with Miami in this one. I like Mike McDaniel, and I also think, and probably in the rarer side here, I think you mentioned the Chargers being a team that can win the AFC. I'm going to say I think Miami's a team that can win the AFC. I think their defense has improved. I think their offense will be more consistent this year as long as Tua is there. And if that's the case, I'd take Miami over the Jets for sure. And Miami just could win that. Not against you, Ross, but that NFC or the AFC East.
It's going to be
on that
tough.
one too. I think they're ready to go, and I think this would be a great start for them. I think they can get it done.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle mentioned the AFC North is stacked. What about the AFC East? I mean, the 3 top teams anyway. I'm going to talk about the 4th team, which is New England, and they're not going to be a pushover every Sunday, but stacking up against the other 3, yeah. I mean, they're 4th in line right now unless they prove differently. So the AFC in general is loaded, absolutely loaded. So I'll start giving you NFC games, Kyle, so those will be a little bit easier. Anyway, just joking, my friend. All right, let me take a look at my game, and that's going to be the New England Patriots hosting the NFC defending champion Philadelphia Eagles. We talked about this earlier, a couple of weeks earlier, and we said, how is Philadelphia just a 4-point favorite at New England? And I guess that's a great question. The total in this game is 45. I'm going to concentrate on the total here because you know me, Doug. Since you've been working with me, when I see a line that looks fishy, I'm either going to take the other side, or meaning the non-obvious play, or I'm going to pass on the side, and that's what I'm going to do. Pass on the side and look at the total. Without a lot of data to go on other than past performances, I mean, and the bottom line is Bill Belichick has been there since 2000, and I'm always a proponent of head coaching trends hold up a lot, especially early in the season if a guy's a long-tenured guy like Belichick. And since 2019, New England has played 7-1 to the under in their first 2 games of the season. And those contests only average 38.5 points per game. Even more so, the New England Patriots in their last 5 season openers, all 5 have gone under the total with a combined 35 points scored per game. And New England only allowed 14.2 points per game in their last 5 season openers. What does that tell me? That tells me Belichick, given time over the course of the offseason and knowing who he's facing in week 1, is going to have his defense well prepared to take away the other team's strengths. And that's always been his trademark since he's been with New England. Now, Nick Sirianni, first 2 games of the season in his 2 years that he's been head coach at Philadelphia, 3-1 to the under. So we have another head coaching trend there where it plays to the under, although the average scores in those 4 games were 42.6. Again, folks, reminding you the total is 45 here. Last year, this was a Philadelphia defense, number 2 in total yards, number 1 in sacks with 70. The closest to that 70 sacks was the Kansas City Chiefs at 54. That's how tremendous their pass rush was last year. They were also number 7 in scoring defense. And I think that this defense, if possible, might be even better this year than it was last year. And that's saying something. Last year, New England, on the other hand, some of the hidden things that you don't know about the Patriots because of their so-so season they had a season ago, I believe they finished 9-8. They were still number 8 in total yards in defense, number 3 in sacks. I mentioned Kansas City was number 2 at 55 sacks. New England, number 3 at 54 sacks. And they were also number 10 in scoring defense. And on the other hand, though, the enigma for the New England Patriots is their offense. They're not an explosive offense. They don't have receivers that could stretch the field vertically. I'm not crazy about Mac Jones. I don't dislike him, but doesn't wow me per se. And this offense last year was number 26th in the NFL in total yards. Since 2010, folks, any NFL game 1 home underdog of 4.5 points or less, like the New England Patriots are, there's a total of 45 or less, which, again, the total is 45, and they won 9 games or less the previous season, which the Patriots did. Those games have played 20-5 to the under since 2016, and that includes 7-1, since 2010, which is 80%, and 7-1 to the under since 2016. I'm going to go Philadelphia, New England, under 45. Doug?
Agree with you, Ross, on that one. I think that's going to be a tough defensive, low-scoring game on that one. And as far as a pick for me on this one, still not, even though it's not as prevalent as what it used to be, Super Bowl losers, the first month of the season now pretty much is not a great bet. I'm going to take New England plus the 3 on the first half line in this game for the free pick on the selection.
That makes a lot of sense as well because, team playing in their home opener as an underdog against a team that went to the Super Bowl the year before. And you mentioned it, the Super Bowl loser. I know a lot was made of the Super Bowl winner having a hangover in the early part of the year for many years. Mm-hmm. That's not been as prevalent of late, but the Super Bowl loser has not fared well against the spread. Not only in the first 4 weeks of the year, but overall. So something to keep an eye on there. Kyle, anything you want to add here?
Yeah, I like your play, Ross. I would agree with the under. That'd be my favorite bet in that game. I think the thing that's key about that is, as you pointed out well, I think you said it well, Belichick has his teams ready at the beginning of the season defensively. We know that. We don't know what we're going to get out of New England's offense. We do know that Philadelphia does have a good defense as well. 45 is not a terribly low number in the NFL. So I think that's a very fair number there. The other thing is I just wanted to tag on to what you were saying earlier, Ross, that, I think it's important that people do pay attention to the process rather than just the picks because, the people who say, well, I don't care what the write-up is. I don't care what your analysis is. I just want the pick. Well, you're probably not going to get better as much as other people do because the process is super important in becoming a better sports bettor. Seeing how we go about handicapping things, I hope it will be helpful to people. I want to throw out one other stat that could apply to this game. It would apply to any others. Week 1 underdogs have done really well against the spread, 56% against the spread in the last 10 years. The public loves favorites. We know that. Underdogs have done well in week 1. The public bets a lot of games in week 1. We know that. They've been missing betting on these football games for a long time. We'll see what happens in this game. I do see the public is betting Philly, 70% of the tickets on Philly in this one. The line's not really moving too much. So I agree with Doug's pick as well. So quite a bit of agreement here.
Yeah. And much to your chagrin, I got to rattle this off to you, Kyle, because you brought it up, not me, about NFL home underdogs in week 1. NFL division home underdogs in week 1. Like the Cleveland Browns are. 21-5 against the spread since 2010. And 16-9-1 straight up, as I recall. So, yeah, I mean, doesn't mean to use Chip Chirimbus's theory, but Ross, 5 times they didn't cover the spread. So, anyway, Chip's another whole story. Anyway, Doug, tell the folks what you got coming up this week. Weekend, I should say, and anything else you want to share in terms of streaks, winning runs, anything of that nature.
Sure, I'll make it snappy here. I got 9 plays going. Docs, we release our plays on Thursdays at 6 p.m. So I got 9 plays, 5 in college, 4 in the NFL. There's going to be a best bet on Saturday in college and a best bet on Sunday, both 6-unit plays. So those are available. 44-28 run going in Major League Baseball. 44-26. Going in Major League Baseball right now. So doing extremely well there. I mentioned the NFL prop bet going tonight. There'll be another one over the weekend and probably something for baseball. 16-6 run on props right now, up over $3,000. And as I can never not be on the show and not bring it up, one last week of Canadian football, 10-5 run. I'm going to have a best bet for Ross this weekend. I know he'll be calling me to get it for sure. So everybody jump on with Ross, my Canadian football pick this weekend.
Yeah, I went to the doctor last week and I have motion sickness, and he told me to stop watching Canadian Football League because there's too many guys in motion all at the same time offensively. You know, that's a penalty in the NFL, but Canadian Football League, the gimmick league, anything goes. Anyway, Kyle, tell the folks what you may have coming up this weekend and any hot streaks. And I know you have some hot streaks of late.
Yeah, I've got 4 college football plays up so far. We'll probably add another 1 or 2 for the weekend. And kind of piggyback on what you already said there, Ross, it's definitely the best move to subscribe long-term. These lines will move throughout the course of the week. Been typically pretty good at getting good line value, especially in college football totals. So you want to try to get those earlier in the week if you can. 67-29 last 96 college football plays. So that's been a great run. See if we can keep it going. 10-2 here the last 12 in Major League Baseball. I'm trying to be pretty selective here at the end of the season. I think it's a tricky time, but 10-2 run there. And I'll be loading up some of my NFL plays here later today. So you can check those out there at Gamblers World.
There you go. Kyle Hunter at gamblersworld.net. And again, folks, he rattled off his football records in the NFL and college football. Just unbelievable. In the NFL, over 60% last year. It's $8.99 to get his football annual subscription. What are you waiting for? And Mr. Doug Upstone, you could find him at docsports.com. Doug is our longest tenured guest on this show. And Doug, I want to thank you, man. We've been together now for 3 years. You do a terrific job, and you epitomize professionalism and integrity, just like the young man below you, Mr. Kyle Hunter, too. So,
well, I'll just add this: when it comes to longest, I'm actually participating in a lot of those streaks now.
Well said, my friend. Well said. I unfortunately, I join you in that regard. You could find me at gamblersworld.net too, folks. Since December 3rd of last year, 21-10 run in college football, coming up at 3-2 week 1. Here's the thing too, folks. I get monitored over at a site called Sports Capping. Doug was there at one time. Kyle is there now. And they do a good job of letting us search through date parameters on a specific sport. So I ran I knew I was doing good in the month of September over the last decade plus. And lo and behold, I ran all the searches and I've gone 79-35 with my September NFL regular season picks since 2010. That covers 13 years. Okay, so again, folks, the proof is in the pudding. You could also get monthly subscriptions at gamblersworld.net as well. You can get my NFL college football combination thereof as well, just like Kyle's. And again, don't forget to check Doug out at docsports.com. So I'll be back tomorrow with Jesse Shule and the genius, Sean Higgs. as it'll be a live show, folks. Join us. You can chime in with all your questions, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. If you can't make it live, we'll have it on archive for you right at the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a like. Until the next time, for Kyle Hunter, Doug Upstone, and Ross Benjamin, take care and God bless, folks.